Okay, I think Mike, we are live. I'll just quickly check. I'll quickly check over YouTube and also over our Twitter and LinkedIn. Let me check. By the way, this is our first live uh, in this new year.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, and
Start the year as we mean to go on.
ah man, it's been almost 2 or 3 weeks that we didn't do any live streaming, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I think the
yeah.
last one was with L, and then out here
Last one before
with you,
Christmas. Yeah, yeah,
and
exactly.
now with Modest Mike. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Hey,
Let's go.
Dom, good to see you.
It's great. Oh, Dominic is here. Yeah. Hey, Dom. Okay. Okay, I'll just quickly give a very short introduction about Mike, and I'm pretty sure like people who are in Databutton's Discord, they already know Modest Mike, and yeah, Mike is kind of one of the power users in in Databutton. He's building. He's not really building. He is doing amazing prompting hacks, and he's amazing. He's keeping the entire Discord community engaged. And the best part is the apps which he's building and he's sharing constantly. Like those are, I mean, I found like your apps more as like aesthetically very pleasing. Like whenever I look into that, the apps which you're building and which you showcase, I know a few of them, but it's really pleasing to see those apps. And I'm very glad that you agreed on this live stream. So welcome, and it's great
Thank
to have
you.
you. Okay, so it will be great if you just give a quick intro, what you are building, and then the show is
Sure.
yours. Just go ahead, and we'll just go through how you're building. That will be the best part to learn, and the apps which you're
Yeah,
building.
absolutely. Absolutely,
Go ahead,
absolutely.
man.
So yeah, I mean, I'm a father of two. I'm originally from London, but I live in Krakow in Poland. And basically, for the last couple of years, I've been learning how to be a financial trader. I got made redundant from my former role in 2023, and I've been learning how to be a financial trader. But financial trading is
Uh-huh.
damn hard. Psychologically, it is really damn hard. So I've kind of been looking at other ways to make money and generate different incomes. Yeah, I think it was like, I don't
Uh-huh.
know, it's the October time. I started playing around with different platforms.
Mm-hmm.
I've been using ChatGPT for a while anyway, and then it was about October time I had an idea to build something for myself for my trading. And I started out with VO, and I
Ah, you
started
mean
with VO.
the V0?
Yeah, V0.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Started out
Nice.
with V0 and started building out just this idea. In fact, no, it wasn't even V0. It was Julius AI. I started with Julius AI,
Julius, yeah. Oh,
and
that's interesting.
all I wanted to do was to reverse engineer the strength of a forex currency.
Mm-hmm.
And I reverse engineered it with Julius AI. Got a formula in Python, and I thought, how can I automate this so I don't have to do all of the manual calculations? So then I started thinking, right, well, how would I do this? I'd have to probably host it online. And then my mind just started going off on this wild path of maybe I could build a website. And then I thought, well, yeah, but nobody's
Uh-huh.
going to want to pay for currency strengths on their own because you can get those for free. And so then my mind just kept going and going and going. So it started on V0, moved over to Bolt New.
Oh, you have tried both.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was on Bolt New as well, and both V0 to Bolt New was because I hit a wall. I couldn't get anywhere.
Mm.
I couldn't get beyond certain points of development. And then I found Databutton via a YouTube video from Corbin Brown,
From
and
Corbin's video.
oh, yeah,
Nice.
yeah. And I thought, oh, that looks interesting. So I came in, and literally, I think it was within 2 days,
Mm-hmm.
what I managed to do on Databutton like eclipsed everything I had done prior to that with V0 and Bolt New. So yeah, so I mean, on my dashboard, you can see I've got a few projects at the moment. And if
Shall
I
I
share
shall I
my
put up? Yeah,
screen,
I can let me.
what started out as one project has now mushroomed into quite a few. So Trader Torch is the one that I started off with. I basically imported the files that I had from Bolt New, and I just added those in.
Ah,
And then,
so I remember like Trader Storage was the first project which I showed in the
yeah,
first live stream as well. And
yeah,
this
yeah,
started not from Databutton, but it was from Bolt. So you just
yeah.
imported the front end
Yeah,
part.
I just imported the files into it, just added them in,
Mhm.
and just told the agent, look, right, analyze all the files, get an understanding, and yeah, away it went. So that one is this one here. So it's quite a complex platform.
Mhm.
It's not live yet because I'm too much of a perfectionist, and I know you keep telling me I need to deploy, and I know I need to deploy. But there's just a few things that I know that, you know, as a trader, I would really want to expect from
Mhm.
it.
Yeah,
So
I remember the last time when I saw Trader Storage, it was not this landing page. It was a bit different
yeah,
from this one,
yeah.
and I see a
So
lot of change since then.
this landing page is kind of the it's been updated. So the live version basically just
Mhm.
it's designed in such a way so that it really uses proper UI. So simple things like, you know, it's got different images every time you reload it. And so I wanted to have an element of diversity to it.
Uh-huh.
But the idea is that I was reading up about it, that the key thing is to have snappy titles, some kind of action, something to do, but then you have an image of a person looking at what it is you
Something.
want them to look at. So
I see.
so this person's got to be looking down at this area. And so
Uh-huh.
that's what I did with the agent. That's why I updated it. So now I've got the rest of it here, obviously, and then when it goes live, it will have a bit more information and a bit more detail. But
I remember last time when I was trying to like just to show this app to others, I couldn't explain it, the whole idea behind it. Would be
yeah,
great if you just quickly introduce like what is
yeah,
this
yeah,
Trader Search
exactly.
about. And I know like you were also into this community of traders
hmm
community, and yeah, just go ahead.
Absolutely. So, so trading is it can be quite a lonely world because you're on your own. You're at your computer. You're not necessarily sitting on the stock exchange floor in Wall Street or something. And so it's just you and your charts. So community is quite, you know, is quite a difficult thing, and it's quite it can be quite what's the word? Quite quite
Yeah,
laddish, if you like.
yeah,
Um, and so what I wanted to do was I wanted to build something that people could join and be part of, that they would get value from. So basically, the design of the platform is relatively simple. You've got the sessions indicator at the top, which is something that I'm really quite proud of, actually, because it's a little bit complicated, but basically, and actually, it's not quite working as it should, because that's not correct. But the
yeah.
idea is that when does the market open in a particular location? Because traders will look for the most amount of liquidity when you've got
Mhm.
two green lights. So if London and New York are open, or Tokyo and London are open, there's an overlap, and so then there's more traders in the market. And traders always forget, or at least I do. So this
Yeah.
has all been built as to what I thought I needed.
And how
So
do you,
this
I'm just curious, how do you kind of monitor that when the market is open? Is it like you make a call to this API or something? Like
Yeah,
how does that work?
it's all based on a formula. So it's based on a formula within the platform as part of the
Oh,
code for that particular component, and it will just look at the time and it will do a calculation. The problem with it is figuring out weekends and things like that. So
I see.
that's why it's saying it's the weekend, but for some reason it thinks it's opening in 29 minutes in Tokyo, which obviously it's not, because tomorrow's Saturday. So,
Mhm.
so I need to go away and look at that. But this one's correct for Sydney, for example, that it's the weekend. It's opening in 51 hours. You know, London's opening up in 61 hours, and New York is closing in 3 hours. So that's the idea. You can obviously change your time zone because there are
Mhm.
traders all over the world. You've got your clock as well, and you've got whether the market is open or not, in terms of, you know, where things are.
Yep.
So the main dashboard and a lot of this I've used a platform called TradingView, and TradingView is
Uh-huh.
one of the most
I see.
popular charting platforms that you can use for trading. And they've got an abundance of free widgets that you can basically import and you can customize to your own personal use. So within this component here, I've built out the widget, but actually these elements here, these tabs, these are actually part of my component, and these are part of my own personal settings. So I built a component where I can say, right, what items or what markets do I want turned on or turned off? And then what symbols do I want added to it as well? So the
So
idea is that you as a
if
user can decide what
uh-huh,
markets you're looking
I
at.
see. So if I understand correctly, these are like the UI components which you have built, or the
Yeah,
like UI part which you can
yeah,
toggle and just change it. And the previous
exactly.
one was more like a embedding out there.
Exactly, exactly. So it was
Okay.
just an embedded widget. So if I show you, for example, we've got the news that's embedded, and then I've just taken that and built it out across all of the different types of markets. So you've got
Nice.
charts, that you
Uh-huh.
can use that are interactive that you can play around with. You've got different data and figures and what have you. Um, the Forex one probably won't work because this one I need to. It's a very slow burn. Oh no, there we go.
Uh-huh.
It's not too bad. So these calculations here with the strength, these are based on a Python code that I'd done with Julius AI.
Mm.
The other scores and the other data still need to be worked out because it's not running continuously.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why this isn't necessarily pulling through, but that's where the idea is that it should be updating itself regularly. At the moment, it uses Yahoo Finance, which doesn't allow commercial use, and
Uh-huh.
that's why I haven't implemented this fully yet, because I only want to implement this last once I'm ready, because the API calls are quite expensive for the data.
I see. So these are
So
mostly paid APIs.
yeah. For commercial use, they're all paid,
Mhm.
and they're not cheap as well. They're quite expensive. So those are all those pages there. Then you've
And
got the sorry.
and if you don't mind, I'll just quickly ask one question.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you are basically fetching this data from this API call via the Python
yeah.
backend, and then you are making some computation out there.
Yes, exactly. So it's got all of the back end here.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got the Forex market. So that's pulling out the data. So it pulls out all the currencies, and
Mm-hmm.
then it has all of the different code in there. I have no idea how it does it. Absolutely no clue whatsoever. I have
But
nothing to do with this other than telling the agent what I wanted.
I see. But
And
what's the company like? How you and agent decided on this computation part?
I mean, this was from Julius AI, where I basically went in and
Uh-huh.
I gave it historical strength scores that I had,
Mm.
and I said, go and replicate these strength scores, and it was just reverse engineering, reverse engineering, reverse engineering, reverse engineering continuously until I got
Sick, man.
to something that was relatively familiar, shall we say?
Mhm.
So that's the forex part. Then you've got the journal. So the trade journal is where traders should always trade journal their trades. So keep a track of all their trades. So this is still a work in progress. This is something that I still need to work through. But the idea is that you can go in and you can track every single type of your
Wow.
trades. You might have multiple accounts. So what account
Uh-huh.
are you going to have? What instrument? So is it the euro dollar? Is it
Yeah.
Apple stocks? Whatever it is, and all the other
Right.
information. Some of it will calculate automatically. Some of it you put in. But one of the features that I want to do is I want to customize the form, and that's what I'm working on at the moment down in this area here, is
Uh-huh.
to customize what you see and what you don't see. So that's
Nice.
something I'm still working on. I haven't managed to quite get that working yet. But the idea is that some traders won't have I don't know, market conditions that they want to track, or they might not have an entry trigger that they want to track. So
Mhm.
therefore, there's no point having that on the form for those
Mhm.
people. So the idea is to customize it, turn it off, and then
Yeah.
they can have
Yeah.
their form how they want it. So that's the trading journal. Then you've got the news. The news, if you speak to any trader, they'll always say the news can be a killer. So
And is
it can move
it from the same
move
API
more.
you are fetching the news? The news.
Yeah, the news is still from TradingView, except for this one here, which is a ticker feed, and this is from something called Financial Juice. But again, it's just a widget embedded in, built into the component. So each of these cards is a separate component, so that it can then adjust
Nice.
as you change screens and things like
Wow.
that.
It would be once you finish with this entire app, would
Mm.
be great if you just show these components which you have built within the code. I mean, just a
Yeah,
quick,
yeah, absolutely,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Then you've got another bit that I'm actually quite proud of. This one's pretty cool, because
It
this one
looks really good, man.
is a Discord community
Yeah.
where, with the help of the agent, I built a Discord bot that
Uh-huh.
authenticates whether or not you are a member of Trader Torch, and then allows you access to the Trader Torch Discord community.
Super cool.
So this page really does nothing other than having a link which
Uh-huh.
takes you through to that bot.
So basically, you just click it and it
You
sends
just click
automated
it,
to the.
and it opens up the Trader
Yeah.
Torch bot that I created. You authorize it, and then it will open up my Discord,
Uh-huh.
and take me to. I mean,
So
I'm already
basically,
obviously a
it's
member,
for the
so
traders. It's for the traders torch community. It's out
yeah.
there. Oh,
Yeah. So again, the agent talked me through that. I had no idea what I was doing. I just
mhm.
followed the instructions, and away it went. Then we
But
got some calculators.
yeah. But overall, I really like the idea. Like you have this community out there, the dashboard out
Yeah,
there, and the user preferences, which is pretty. I mean, that's something which
yeah,
is neat, pretty much neat out here in this app, and it's sick,
yeah,
man.
exactly. And then you've got the calculators. So again, traders very often need to calculate certain things about how they're going to enter a trade, or those sorts of things. So these calculators, all I had to do was simply tell the agent, go and create me a position size calculator, and it would go and do it. It would build the components. It would build all the elements to it. Occasionally there would be a little bug in it or whatever, but
Yeah.
all I had to do was simply tell the agent, right, go and fix this, go and change that, and away you go. So again, 6 calculators that hopefully other traders would find useful.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's kind of how it is. But
I
when
mean,
you look at it,
overall, I think it covers almost everything, like from the
well,
dashboard.
the idea is that I want to build it as something that isn't so expensive.
Uh-huh.
So I want it to be affordable, because there's loads of traders out there that want to take it seriously, but they can't, because they can't afford it.
And
So
have you?
there's
Yeah.
journaling platforms out there that charge you, say, $50 a month
Ooh,
just for access, and that's a lot of money for people that are trying to
yeah.
make
Right.
a profit. And if you're not profitable, that $50, that's that's a lot of money. So my idea is to make this much more affordable, and target it towards more like the kind of the $10 mark per month,
Hmm.
to make it much more affordable for people, and hopefully encourage them to take their trading more seriously.
Makes sense.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, so it is a complex app. I mean, if you look on on the pages that I've got, there's quite a few, as you can see. So there's several pages. They are all wrapped. The majority of them, they're all wrapped under the auth code with
Uh-huh.
Firebase,
Hmm.
and then they will have things
There's
like
the UI
the
components which is
various
connected to the
different
pages.
components.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the header will be across all of them, and I think the footer somewhere I've got somewhere in there. So there's tons and tons and tons of various different elements. The reason being is because there are all different nuances and all different parts to it. And what I've discovered is, if you try and build everything all into just one page, and you change one thing, the whole page
Yeah.
just goes.
It's
It
basically
dies.
pretty much overwhelming for the agent or for any
Yeah,
LLM actually to just
exactly,
everything.
exactly. So the idea is that it's okay. There's a lot of files, but actually on the other side of it, there's there's less to go wrong in a way, because you've just got all these different parts to it. So yeah, so I've got the UI files, so things like chart types and all sorts of
Mhm.
different bits and pieces to it. Even the currency flags, that's one of the things that it pulls in from a library. So there's all sorts of different elements to it. So it's a deep app that
I can
actually
already see that.
looking at it now, I'm even thinking to myself, my God, that is ridiculously huge. So, and then you obviously got the back end. So there's the Firestore, there's the feedback submission, there's the Discord connect, there's
Mainly the
accounts.
mainly the functionalities of each and every part of your app.
Exactly, it's all fitting in there. So there's a fair few elements to it that are quite complex. But what I have done is I've also used, actually it wasn't on this app, so I'll show it on a different one.
Yep.
But I have used the internal storage to help keep things going and keep things on track.
And
So yeah, so
I'm just curious here. Quick question. Like, let's say now you want to make some changes. How do you manage all over this so many UI components and the pages? Like, what do you do? Like, I mean, how do you manage from the agenda?
I actually do it by going through as a user. So if I look at, let me go to the dashboard. If I'm looking at it as a user, I've been working on it logically through the different elements. So I've been treating each of these pages as a separate piece. So I've broken it down as a project so that I'm going through. When I was hitting a bit of a roadblock with the user preferences for the trading journal, I was like, okay, let me leave that. Let me go away and focus on the widgets for TradingView. And so I've done that. The widgets for TradingView are now working really well. You've now got charts that you can use and all that sort of stuff. For some reason, there we go. They've been adjusted so that you can manage different elements to it and have different default settings. So the idea is that you can really integrate yourself with it and save it. So that I'm really happy with now. And so then what I'll now do is when I get back working on this, I'll be working on the trade journal element to it. So and then further down the line, there's integrations that you can do with other systems and other platforms, and that'll be something that I go through.
We just have it helps to build backend or not. That's a quick question. Yeah, Mike, do you want to answer this?
So it's built the back end for me on this app. So it has gone through all of this. All of these files are all, certainly the back end pieces are all actually created by the agent. So it sometimes needs a little bit of guidance as to what it is you really want it to do. You can't just assume that it knows. You've got to be quite specific as to what you expect. So this is the pride and joy of my collection with Databutton. Let's say it's a labor of love. It's a real labor of love. But alas, me being me, I've decided to add a bunch of work onto my shoulders, let's say.
And we all can already see that.
Exactly. So one of the things I've been doing is my wife runs a cafe here in Krakow. So I've been building out a new website for the cafe. Thank you, Felipe. Thank you.
And I will just
directly or everything done directly with the agent.
Yeah.
So I haven't really done any coding directly. I can if I want to. Like I can go into the code. So if I wanted to go into the code and if I wanted to edit some of it, I can, and I can edit it if I feel a need or what have you. But there's really no need. I'd be scared if I did, if I'm honest, because I'd always be thinking, what have I done? So I'm not a developer. I'm not a coder, so I have no idea about these things. So I'm best off not touching the code. But
I'm just I'm
it
just
can
curious.
be it can be touched if you wanted it to, because obviously you've got the edit code button here for each of the pages as
Yeah.
well, so I can go into it and change it if I wanted to. The one thing I will change is I'll change, for example, sometimes the copy, right? So that I can go in and I can dig it out. I can say, right, where's the copy for this, and I can change it. That I'm happy to do. Anything beyond that, I'm not. I'm nowhere near competent enough to do that.
No, I'm just curious after this. Like after working with the agent alongside agent for the past 2-3 months, like
Yeah.
starting from Julius AI, then to Data Button,
Hmm.
Bold, and
Hmm.
like how much do you think as a someone coming from non-technical background now after 2 months, how was that learning curve?
Steep.
S- Steep.
Very steep, very
Uh-huh.
steep. Yeah. Um, but I spent time doing things like there's a great tutorial with Corbin Brown on how to
Hmm.
build an app with AI, integrating it with Firebase and everything else, more on a manual basis rather than a total agent supported basis. So that's really, really useful because that taught me some of the basic things. But it's a steep learning curve. You know, you do need to start to understand the concepts of what you're trying to build, and you it's sometimes hard to get what's in your
Yeah,
head
exactly.
out verbally, even to yourself, let alone to a system, right?
Also, I
So
feel like when like for Trader's Torch, this
yeah,
app has scaled quite a bit. I'm
yeah,
pretty sure like you have this backend, different
yeah,
pages. You probably have a architecture in your mind, like from where you will connect the database, how the database
yeah.
will return or fetch the data
Yeah.
back, and how you call the API. Like, I'm just curious, like, how do you handle this? Like, do you have a kind of a notebook where you just make this rough
So
sketches
yes,
and then you just put it?
this was my preferences notes that I had
Uh,
in terms of what preferences and everything else. So just writing it out and writing out a schema. But then when I was doing my wife's cafe website,
yes.
I realized that I wasn't being structured enough with the agent. And so what I did with the cafe website was I did a project plan. And the
Oh,
project plan was actually built by the agent. And so the agent went through and built out a JSON project plan with all of the different tasks and all of the different independencies. So
this is
I did
very
nothing.
interesting, actually. Yeah.
I did absolutely nothing of this. The agent did it all, and it then went in and built out all of the tasks. So all of the tasks that are here for this particular project, they're all like it's done 163 tasks and it's still got 257 to go.
Crazy.
Um, so I mean that's like that's what we're working on right now. But the idea is that this website, it's not just a cafe website. Right now it is just a cafe website, right?
Yeah.
So it's got nice pictures, it's got a menu page, you know, it's nice, it's reactive, it looks professional, right? If this was just a normal website, I'd be quite happy with this. It's got dual language, so it translates.
Uh-huh.
Um, you know, it's got a contact form. It's got all of the stuff that you'd want your website to have. So I'm happy with it as a website, but as a cafe, we can't just expect people to show up. So
Mhm.
I want to add in order management for people to order cakes and all those sorts of things. So that's still in progress.
Let me
Um,
let me
at
share
the,
this website with others as well. Yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
so
I'll
at the moment, our website is based on WordPress, and I want to move away from that. I want to host it on Firebase, for example, and that was it. You know, I want to get it away from WordPress because WordPress, it just gets so out of date so quickly.
Mhm.
And I hate being reliant on having features that you have to pay for an extra plugin for.
I see.
So with this one, I'm building all of the features myself
Mhm.
and I'm customizing those features. So for example, cakes need to be ordered 3 working days in advance. So I'm building that into the order management system, and things like that. So this one will have its own admin panel. I think it should be working. So it will hopefully load up. We'll see. But yeah, there'll be an admin page
Mm-hmm.
that basically takes you in. If I go in here, it will probably show us. So it logs us in with the authentication, and we've got the dashboard, so it will tell us what products are we managing. Oh, there we go. We've got a bit of a bug in one of the components. Let's see what the agent says about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's basically how I'm running it as a project.
By the way,
Going and running that.
Dominic has a comment. Very cool with the JSON structure. I really also like that. I mean, the way you created that JSON structure and then you go for the plan. Like, how is the workflow for you? You first create or plan it with the agent and then go to the planner, or
Yeah.
how
So
do you do that?
I didn't give the agent anything in terms of, I didn't upload a file or anything like that. I simply said to the agent, right, let's figure out a plan as to what we're going to do. These are the things that I want. Let's figure out the plan. Let's figure out what we're going to do with it.
Mhm.
And it was actually the agent's idea to build the JSON file as a project plan.
Ah,
So I now get the agent
uh,
to reference the project plan, and we go from there. So there we go. It's figured it out. So although it's still on this one, it keeps repeating itself. So I need to start a new thread, I think, with this one, because
yeah.
it keeps getting stuck. But the idea is I'll be able to import with a CSV, create new
Mhm.
products. This isn't built out yet, but then there'll also be a content page. So be able to do blog posts and all those sorts of things. So at the moment, the WordPress backend is just so complicated for somebody like my wife.
Mhm.
It's too
Makes sense. Yeah.
complex. So the idea is this is just going to be a really, really simple one. So Dom, I didn't. Trader Torch was the first thing that I started with, but it was a lesson that I took from Trader Torch, was that I needed a project plan. So so that's why I started with a project plan on this one. And it's worked. It's really worked very well. The only thing you have to do is you have to remind the agent to mark your projects as complete. Sorry, not your projects, your tasks as complete. So
Yeah, that's right.
occasionally, and do it on both. So not just the tasks, but also in the JSON file, because sometimes it completes a task and it then moves on to the next one without marking it as completed. So you've got
I
to
think
kind of keep an eye on that one.
that's a great tip actually. To
Yeah,
mark that
yeah,
if the plan is over or you just need to go to the next
yeah,
task. That's very
exactly.
that's pretty insane to see. Like, you have created like more than 100 tasks out there, and you were still
Yeah,
saying,
I mean it's like 300 tasks, I think. So but there's like loads of subtasks. So all of these have got the different elements to it. So the main task here is I need a comprehensive order management system, but then it's built it down, right? Build a reporting and analytics dashboard, create an order management interface, implement notification systems. So there's all the
the to-dos.
subtasks,
Yeah, yeah,
which are all also included in the JSON as well. So
right, that's right.
it hopefully gives it a little bit more structure and a little bit more or a little bit less room for error, let's say, and it helps keep me and the
Also
agent
organized quite a bit with the task
on
and the next
task.
feature.
Yeah,
That's right.
exactly. So yeah, so that's one that I've been working on. Then a couple of weeks ago, my parents were visiting me, and I was working on the cafe website, and my mum said to me, she said, "So what are you doing? Right? I don't understand. How are you doing this? How are you suddenly creating websites?" And I said, "Well, I'm just doing it on this AI thing." She said,
Uh-huh.
"Okay, but how?" Because for my parents, they're in their 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
For them, artificial intelligence is like, whoa, hang on a second.
Oh, I totally get that. Yeah.
It's like black magic, right? So so I said to her, I said, "All right, well, tell me what what you want me to do." And we'd been talking about how we could generate some income for me, because obviously being unemployed, and I'd come up with this idea, and I said, "You know what? There's all these different platforms where you can scan your old DVDs or CDs or books or whatever." But none of them really, they're all, charging you fees and everything else. What if you just had a platform that basically you could scan the barcode and you could then see how much your product was worth on the open market?
Oh,
So
interesting.
for example,
Yeah.
the idea was, right, okay, scan your barcode, your book or whatever, and have a look and see how much are people selling it for on all of the different platforms on the internet.
Hmm.
So I went to the agent and I said, go and build me a platform. And literally, I just showed it to my mum what the prompt was, and off it went, and away it went.
Hmm.
So this will be eventually, when I get round to it, scanpricesell.com. And the idea is that you can scan. It won't scan right now because I'm using the camera for our live stream, but the idea is it will be mobile first, right?
I see.
You can use a computer camera,
Hmm.
but the idea is it will use your phone camera and you
Hmm.
scan the barcode.
Oh, and
Um,
have you already like made it mobile friendly or something?
it is already mobile friendly. So again, you just scan with the camera or you enter the barcode,
Hmm.
and it will follow that. I'm going to try and see, because I wanted to show you how it works, but I might not have one
Wow,
available.
quite a long
Um,
thread of chats.
the, yeah, I really should get into a better habit of keeping my threads shorter, but yeah,
Even if you don't do that, usually like when we have a long thread of chat, the ones which you
yeah,
see bit dark grayed are the ones which is
yes,
out of the context from the memory. So
yeah,
it's all good
exactly.
even if you continue.
I'm trying to see if I have one. Here we go. So all you do is you go in, you click search.
Let's see.
Oh, there's an API
I see
request
an
error.
error. Yeah, I see an
This is
error.
this
It's some,
was. Let's hang on. Let's start a new thread. Um,
but I
because I
think
had
there
some API issues
also
with this one.
I see the backends are blinked in red. There are probably
Yes.
some errors. Yeah,
Yeah,
few
yeah. So
errors.
this
There's
one,
duplicate.
I was going through, and there was all sorts of stuff. So we can come back to that later, if people want to have a look at that. But
But I think
again,
those are mostly duplicate endpoint errors which you have just if
yeah,
you can. But
exactly.
it's all good. Yeah.
So backwards and forwards, but yeah, the idea is it then produces the search results down below, and it gives you eBay, it gives you all the different websites, so you can see as a market how much is your book worth. So the
Hmm.
lowest price is this, the highest price is this, and then the plan is to build it in so that you just have affiliate links with eBay and all of those other guys, so that when somebody clicks through to buy or sell their product, away you go,
Yeah.
and I don't need to charge the user any money for it. So it just becomes a free platform for them.
Super cool.
So
And like,
yeah.
how do you plan to monetize this app or the Trader's Choice? Like, have you thought about that
So
pricing plan or something?
this one will be purely for free. So this
Free?
one will
Yeah.
be purely based on affiliations.
Hmm.
So the idea is that if you get, it's a shame it's not working at the moment, but basically, if you actually, let me just try.
You can try the deployed version, maybe. Yeah,
I don't know
that's
if I messed up the deployed version or not. The deployed version might work.
check. I mean, you can. Looks like it's searching something. Yeah.
It's thinking about it.
When did you last deploy this, or when did you like? How long did you work on this app, by the way? This is like fairly a very new one.
This hasn't had much of my time at all. This is what I was doing for a couple of days. I've got 5 monitors here, right? So I've got 2 which are in portrait mode, and I've got 3 in landscape. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and basically I had 3 monitors. So 1, 2, 3, and I
Uh-huh.
basically had Databutton on each of them. And so I was getting the agent to work
You
on
work on
all
all
3
of this
different.
simultaneously.
Yeah. So probably not the best use of my time, because obviously I end up with errors and whatnot. But the idea is that each link or each platform will have a link embedded with my affiliate codes, so it would monetize that way. So the
Nice.
users don't have to pay for anything, and I'm simply going to get a commission fee from
Commission.
eBay or whoever it is for sending them the traffic.
Nice.
So that's the idea. But this one's on the back burner for now, because I want to focus on the other ones that I've got
Mhm.
going. Another one that I did really, really simple was about a year and a half ago. I did an Etsy online store, print on
Uh-huh.
demand.
Uh-huh.
And I got shut down for, I don't know, actually, because they wouldn't tell me. So I still have the domain name. So I was like, okay, let me go and build an online shop. Rather than paying Shopify a monthly fee, let me just go and build
Hmm.
my own. So at the moment, this is a really, really basic one with basically no functionality whatsoever. But I said to the agent, I said, go and build me a football apparel online shop, and this is what it's built me. So it's already got the images and all that sort of stuff.
Uh-huh.
It should hopefully bring up a product page. No, it doesn't, because it's got a 404 error, but that's fine.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's already built the admin dashboard, and the product cards and all these other bits. So yeah, so it's done a decent job on a first iteration. Again, I've not really done much with it. I was playing around with
And
it. And
do you already have the plan or the task up there? What would be the next with
this
it? Or
one, I haven't given it that much time yet. So the scan price sell and this one, they're like back end kind of,
uh-huh,
right. When
uh-huh,
I've got some time, I'll work on them and put some plans in place. The one that I've been working on most recently is actually for my wife, and that's
uh-huh.
this
Yeah,
one.
that's right.
So she's a very talented painter,
Hmm.
and she's got quite a large following on Instagram. So she's got people wanting to buy her paintings, and she's been doing workshops and stuff like that. So I've basically said to her, right, let me build your website. So I went to the agent, and I said, I really, really simple outline. I said it's going to be an artist's website with paintings for sale, workshops to
Hmm.
attend. It
Yeah.
needs to have a back end, and away it went, and it did it. So it's already got the admin back panel as well. So I can add, and I can put in different types of paintings and things like that. And I can add in prices and all that sort of
Hmm.
stuff. I can choose a picture. Let's put a picture cover of my book, and I can have it as a featured one on the homepage or not. And I just create the painting. It goes away, it adds it all, and then hey presto, there you go.
Wow, super cool. By the way,
And then
like
if I
for the people who don't know out here, Mike is writing a book as well. I just saw over your LinkedIn post yesterday. Great stuff, man. I mean,
so
I
so
love
yeah,
I love the title of it. Yeah.
and it's simple. It's not meant to be overly complicated. There's a contact page, and
Hmm.
like this footer I did in maybe 15 minutes, 10 minutes, if that. And that was basically just telling the agent, go and create a nice, elegant footer, and make sure you include the privacy policy and
Uh-huh.
terms and conditions and everything else for the website. Off it went, and just did it.
And
And
how do
and
you like? I have seen this thing. Each of your apps is a different font styling, if I'm not wrong.
mhm, mhm.
And how do you pass that to the agent? Like, do
I
you
don't,
you
I
don't?
don't. No,
Okay.
no. All I've done is I've simply given it the context of what it is I'm trying to do.
Ah, okay. So
So
it's more like a uh-huh,
yeah,
more like a
so
prompt where you say that what you're building and to match the
exactly.
theme of your prompt. Oh, nice.
Exactly. So
Interesting.
I give it the niche, let's say, of what I want. So if you look at the coloring of it, the coloring of
Yeah,
this is
exactly.
actually
Yeah.
it's actually very similar to the cafe, right?
Yeah.
Um, so the cafe is also, lots of white space, some different elements. The cafe one, I did specifically go into it and give it some extra detail
Uh-huh. I see.
into certain elements. So the target audience. I think somewhere in this one,
I think the
I
design or
I
in the
even
agent.
picked
Yeah.
the colors for it to use. So, but actually, a lot of this I built out with ChatGPT. So I said to
Uh-huh.
ChatGPT, right, these are the fields that I need to give to Databutton. Can you give me the descriptions for me to add to it? And
Yeah.
away it went. So yeah. So but somewhere I did work with it to say, right, these are the primary palette colors that I want you to use, and away it went, and it's used them. So this one is the one that I've been working on most recently, and I'm hoping to have it finished relatively soon, because it doesn't need too much. It just needs that back admin panel and some kind of payment structure, whether it's going to be Stripe or whether it's just going to be simple,
Yeah.
more
Just
manual. I don't know, but that's
you can
kind of
just
the
add
basics.
something Stripe or something. It's really very easy to do that.
Exactly. So, but what I have been doing is, whenever I've been doing a new app, I've been using the Tailwind option.
Okay. So when you start
So
building the app, the
yeah,
new app,
yeah,
that's interesting. So
yeah.
you use
I,
the full customizability.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
I've been using that purely because I just want to have that element of creativity. That element of just being able to do something different. So I've been
I
doing
think
that with
that's
Tailwind.
a great tip actually. Yeah.
So yeah, so that's kind of how it's worked. I'm trying to think which one, because I wanted to show how I've been working on it, because that contact page has been done. Trying to think what because I've been so busy on my book, I haven't actually worked on it that much lately. So I'm trying to
Fair
think,
enough. Yeah.
what do I need to do on this app next
And I'm just
to
curious, like when you say about you were almost done with it, are you planning to launch it somewhere, or it's just like I can
no.
understand for this website you can just go and like share with the main website,
Yeah,
plug it in there.
so I've got the domain .com, patrickkafka.com.
Or the
So
custom domain. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so it'll go onto a custom domain, and we'll be able to use that as her platform, basically. So really, it really doesn't need much.
Mhm.
It needs to have the functionality uh, to what's the word I'm looking for? To place orders and make payments and those sorts
Yeah.
of things.
That's right. Right.
But that's really it. So what I might do is actually, because I remember that she wanted me to add some extra details to the
And
painting page.
do you and your wife like just cross check every time what are the new features to add and what to change or something?
She is totally out of the loop on this. She is like my parents. She has no interest in AI or any of this kind of stuff. She's not
Uh-huh.
technical. She's an artist. She'll
Uh-huh.
paint. She doesn't want to know. All she wants is, does it work?
Oh,
I even said to
fair
her, I
enough.
said,
Yeah.
look, I asked her, how do you want to manage it with, like, if somebody makes a purchase, do you want
Hmm.
it to be automatically updated in terms of
Yeah.
what the status of that painting is, or do you want to do it yourself, because it's more personal or whatever? And she said, no, it needs to be automatic. She said, we both know that I'm terrible at admin,
Uh-huh.
so it needs to be automatic. Don't be getting me to do anything manually. So
Fair enough.
so
Yeah.
that's one of the things I need to do. So actually, I'm going to do that now. So I want to add a status field for the paintings.
Nice.
It should suggest, or no, it should show the viewer whether a painting is sold, reserved, or for sale.
Hmm.
Please add this to the form.
Please, the word please has to be there.
Do you know what? I don't know. It's my Englishness, I guess. It's my Britishness.
Oh, it's nice
I
to be.
can't. I can't help it. I can't help it. Where is it? That's the back end. The painting card. I'm not sure if it is the painting card.
I think like this. I mean, whenever I speak to any of
It's
Databutton's
to the
user, this is like one of the most
admin form.
useful feature, the hashtag and
Yeah,
pointing
yeah.
out towards particular
Please
components.
add the admin form so that it can be changed manually. We'll do it manually for now,
Yep. Go
and
ahead.
let's see. And it should
Nice.
hopefully update that. I see we've got
Oh,
some duplicate errors anyway, but we'll see what it says. So,
yeah.
so it's going to go
So,
away and think about it.
mhm.
Um, Update the backend models to include a status field. Yep. Please proceed.
Nice.
Do
you often check the thoughts part, the show thoughts?
I do. But I found that when it gives you a plan like that, thoughts tend to be a duplication of that.
I see.
So I tend not to worry too much about it then. But when it hasn't given you that much feedback in the commentary, then yeah, I do go through the thoughts. Let's see if we've got a field yet. Not yet. There we go.
Oh,
there's
nice.
our field. So for sale, reserved, or sold.
Oh, I think like we have added another new feature. I'm just noticing right now.
There is. This is something new.
Yeah, but
changes.
Check the other feature, like compare.
Compare with current. Yes.
I think that's a real shift.
This
is
is
a very
new. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have to have a look at that in a second. Okay, so hopefully that
I think
almost done.
Right now the agent is trying to
update the painting card to display the status. Yeah, so it's going through the whole process. So with this particular site, the files are really quite small. There isn't a lot of content.
How large is this particular page?
This page is not that. It's not that big. This particular one isn't. Actually, it's okay. It's okay. It is big. All right. Okay. It's decent size. But the app overall isn't that big. So I tend to just let it run on these sorts of things. On the Trader Torch and on the cafe website, it's more complex. So
I think you need to be much more precise with the prompting part.
So there we go. So it's already fixed its own error that it had, which was a syntax error. And it's gone in, it's added the new status, and we should be able to edit those. So that one, I'm going to change that to reserved, update it. Oh, it failed to update.
I think this is the backend error.
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong,
So, okay. There appears to be an error in the logs when I tried to update an existing painting.
Could you please read the log error and
please check the logs and assess what is the cause. Don't write code.
Nice.
Just give me feedback. When there's an error, I will if it hasn't picked up the error itself, and I've seen it in the logs or I've discovered it, I always ask it to analyze it first, purely because sometimes it just goes off on a tangent. Whereas if you ask it to analyze it, then it will go through. So it says, okay, so when updating a painting, the backend is expecting the ID field in the request body, but it's not being included in the painting data object in the form submission. This is happening because we're only adding the status field to the update call, but not calling. Okay, so would you like me to fix this issue? Yes, please. Fix the update issue.
Nice.
I do like these kind of prompts.
The smart prompt suggestion. Yeah,
because it just saves me time having to write it. So I don't always use it, but they are quite handy to use when it's obvious, that it's a fix that just needs to be implemented. So it's going to go through and update the back end. You can see
I think it's also running. Yeah, it's also running some tests, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah. So let's try that again, and let's see. I fixed the issue, so let's try and change the stage of that one now.
Let's see.
No, we've still got an error. Okay.
Yeah.
So there is still a 422 error occurring in the logs, preventing the painting from being updated. please check the logs carefully and assess the issue thoroughly.
Nice. I think this kind of prompting is very useful actually when you ask the agent to devise a plan
Yeah,
before going for code execution, like kind of a
yeah,
way where you
exactly.
first prime the agent and then ask it to come up with a plan,
Yeah,
and then it
yeah,
reflect on its plan, then just go for the execution.
exactly. So here I've said, please check the logs carefully and assess the issue thoroughly. Don't cut corners. Don't write code. Just give me feedback.
And I'm
Um,
curious, like what does this backend do? This particular backend do?
this backend is sending it to Firebase, or to Firestore. Sorry,
Ah,
so
I
I'm
see.
keeping this all in Firestore.
And
Um,
could you check, like, is this backend, like, does it show some error? I mean, over the UI? No, it looks fine.
on the UI, it did have
No,
an
there is no
error.
red blinking right there. No.
Here it's no, there's nothing here. No,
Ah,
so
perfect. There's no lint error as well. Okay.
I found the root cause the issue. The issue is in the store's update painting implementation. The URL parameter is wrong. It's using painting ID, but should be painting ID. Sometimes it's as
Uh-huh.
simple as that. Let's see if it's true. There we go. Fix
It
it.
may be in the, so I think it's in the UI files, in the utility files in the store, which the agent mentioned right now. Yeah. Let's see.
So we'll see what it does. We don't, but I can see we are getting some error in the logs. So let's just have a look. There's a warning rather than an error. So we'll see what's happening with that in a minute. I've updated it, so let's try it again. Let's edit, and let's put that to reserved. Update painting.
I think this time it's
Looks better.
looks like it was successful. There's still some warning, but I think it went through.
Reserved. There we go.
Oh, that's so cool. So this entire data is getting stored in your Firebase. That's the database for you.
Yeah.
Sick.
So I just, for me, it just makes more sense. Just keep it all in Firebase, using the Firestore, and it feels better.
And you have also implemented the authentication.
Yep.
It's like
So
authentication plus database. Nice.
So this one has a specific authentication setup whereby the admin is very specifically listed as certain users, because it's not going to be anyone can sign up and register to log into the admin, right? So this one is very specifically, I've told the agent, right, only these email addresses are going to be admin users. Make sure that's configured into the Firestore, and yeah, it's done it without any problems. So
yeah, I mean, and you are storing all this data back to Firestore based on the user ID, or like
yeah, exactly. So let's just have a look at what this warning is. We are getting the below warning in the console logs. Please have a look to see what might be causing it. Don't write code, just give feedback. That's like literally my strap line to the agent.
No, I think that's a great way to handle it.
It's a really simple one, and it seems to work. It hasn't. I say that, and it'll probably go and write code now, but generally it pays attention. It really, I don't remember it not paying attention to that particular instruction.
I'm just curious, have you tried this instruction in the custom instruction place, like where it's like a persistent memory? Have you tried to?
I haven't, because sometimes I don't want it to
think
not write
through.
code.
Yeah, exactly. Makes sense.
So sometimes I just want it to go and do it. So I haven't necessarily included in that. So React encounters duplicate keys. We'd like me to fix. Yep, let's go.
So you're now you're asking the agent to fix the warning signs, like whatever.
I'm now asking the agent to fix what was the error that it discovered. So the loading skeleton component is rendering twice in the admin page, once for paintings, once for workshops. So let it go and fix itself. And yeah, off it goes. Update the admin page to pass the different prefixes. It's still coming up with an error. So we'll check that one again. and we'll see. And we're getting a rendering issue with this image now, so we'll have to check that. I've updated both. The warning duplicates should now be resolved. Would you like to test it? The warning about duplicates is still there. Why might that be? Why might that be? Don't write code. Just give feedback. Let's see what it says. But yeah, so that's how I'm interacting with it. When it's what I was doing the other day when I said I had 3 windows open or 3 monitors open, when it's doing these sorts of things, I can then ask the next agent on the other screen to do something as well whilst it's doing it.
You just go ahead with
right,
that's right.
So try to use that. What's it saying? I believe I found the issue. The problem isn't with the skeleton keys anymore, but rather with the structure of the component. Loading skeleton component includes its own grid layout that matches the layout of both the paintings of workshop sections. This creates nested grids with identical structures and potentially conflicting React keys during tab transitions. Would you like me to propose a solution that removes this nesting and potential key conflicts?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Well, I think we should also do a live streaming of like how an app is built from scratch. I think that will be really fun to see. Like when we can just collaborate together and just prompt live.
I would love that idea. I think we should definitely do that. Would you like me to implement these? Implement the changes. There we go. I really think we should. I was trying to think of if we had time today, did I have any ideas of an app that I wanted to build? But the only one that I have is actually I do have one, which we could do quickly if you wanted to, which was a cafe website for my parents-in-law because they run a cafe and a bakery. So so we could do one very quickly.
Let's do it. Let's do it, and we can also do another one, or we can just continue with that for the next week. That also we can do, and let's start building one more.
Alrighty, let's just let this one finish doing what it's doing.
Yeah, that's something. You know what I feel like I think one of this limitation is when we are working on one tab. If we switch to another tab, the agent becomes pretty slow, and that's something which I also struggle a lot while building. Like for me, when I'm working on number of apps at the same time, I cannot switch the tab, and it would be great. Like if you can fix that somehow. But yeah, that's something.
The only solution right now is just
use number of monitors,
a ridiculous number of monitors that makes you look like you work for NASA. That's the only way to fix it right now. So but let's go and do a new app, shall we? Okay, so a website for a cake bakery / cafe with online ordering capabilities. Online ordering capabilities. Flexible for what else do we want? Online for dual language in English and Polish.
Meanwhile, I'll just answer this question, Mike, if it's fine for you.
Yeah, of course.
Josh Ramirez. Yeah, I think a lot of users have actually requested this Superbus integration. Something which we are also thinking. I'm not sure when this will be out, but something which we are planning to do, put it out as soon as possible. It's in the roadmap. So we already have Firebase integration, which is working great. Superbus would be something we can just create a very tight integration with Superbus. That's all something which we can do as an integration, but you can already start working with Superbus. I think the first live stream, Dom was showing off how to use Superbus. So we have Superbus you can use in the front end. Also, you can use in the back end with the Python. You can also call the Superbus. It's very easy to do that. So you can try that. And yes, that's something which also in our roadmap to use Superbus integration. right there to use.
Cool. All
So
righty.
you went
I've
for
written.
Shakti or the Tailwind?
I went for Tailwind.
Ah, nice.
Yeah. So let's see what it comes up with. So here we go. Oh, okay. So this is new. So it hasn't gone away just yet and built it. First of all, it's asked me for the target audience and it's given me a description. So there's my description. There's my app name and the target audience. Target audience is going to be Polish speakers in no, it doesn't really make a difference. Polish speakers looking to purchase cakes and desserts for special occasions,
Mike, we
including.
have a very nice comment over our Discord as well. Someone says that Surface Oaks. I think you have spoken to him. We all have spoken to him. He says that I couldn't stay until the end, but it was really good to see all the potential of the platform. Great stuff, Mike. You mastered the agent completely.
Well, I'm not sure just quite yet, but we'll see. We'll see. It's very
Shall
kind of
we
him.
change the handle name from Modest Mike to Master Mike? Or
No. I think that's a little bit premature. I think it's a little bit premature. Birthdays, weddings, and other
meanwhile, I'll
special
just try to create
and
a link.
communions. Let's see, communions. Target audience, right? Main screen size should be probably mobile. Default
Let me
theme will have light. Okay. Let's just get going.
Yeah, I'm also sharing the Discord link so that the invite link. If people want to join, just click
Yeah,
it and
absolutely.
go ahead. Yeah,
We're a friendly bunch. We don't bite.
not at all. Not at all.
So we like to encourage everyone as much as we can.
And it's
So
great. Actually, it's super cool. And honestly, we were thinking. I think we spoke once, Mike. I think last week that we should
Mhm.
start Discord live streaming or something. That
yeah,
would be
yeah,
super cool.
yeah,
I mean, we
absolutely.
can just build this kind of stuff right there and
Yeah,
prompt together. Literally, you can just
yeah.
add any of the users out there and just we just prompt it
I
together.
was even thinking of if we just had like a live voice channel,
Yeah.
and you just join, and you just share what you're doing. You just share your screen whilst you're working on it, and people can jump in and see what you're doing, and kind of get feels to what you're working on.
Okay, then
So
I am. What shall I name that channel? Let me do
um,
that. So I'm just creating one.
watch me build.
Ah, nice.
I don't know
Well,
yeah, watch me build or something like that.
perfect. And
Or just a live channel, but
the channel is created now. I will. Oh no.
waiting for it to pop up on my Discord.
Mm-hmm. Okay, just a second. I have to make it public. Let me do it. Permission. Yeah, save changes. Now, do you see that?
Yeah, I just got something coming up. Show all. There we go.
You have
Watch
it
me
now.
build.
So
Yeah,
we should
got it.
start doing that as well. Like we can just do this live prompting session out there with everyone.
Yeah,
It'll be super cool, no?
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So what have we got the agent doing now? So the agent now going off and
So
writing code.
just a quick question here. Did you use Shadchan or the Tailwind for building
Tailwind.
this? Tailwind. Ah,
Yeah. So it's already generated the Tailwind config code. Is generated code for the translations as well, which was something I didn't do when I started with the cafe website. Is that I should have told it from the beginning that I wanted translations. So hopefully it will do that.
nice. Yeah.
We'll see if we need I18N or not, or whether it will manage to install it by itself. We'll see. So for the cafe, I had to get Martin to install it for me
Is
as
it?
a package because it was an npm package.
Okay.
That wasn't included, so he added it.
Actually, you can ask the agent if it's already out there in the environment or not. You can ask the agent.
Yeah, so for the cafe it wasn't, so that's why I had to get Martin
Okay.
to install it.
Okay.
But it might be now that it's added. So let's see. Right, let's test what we have first. Here we go.
Wow, you
So
already have.
it's already given me a
Super cool.
mobile ready.
Uh-huh.
So recommended. There you go. And we've got Nasha Chasta. So we've got our cakes.
So it did the translation for the very first go, from the very first prompt.
Yeah.
And
there you go.
I'm just curious, did it create also a backend or something, or it's just all about the UI, second, third
No,
UI
it doesn't.
component?
Let's have a look. It hasn't done the back end yet.
Yeah.
And it hasn't quite.
But I think
So
for this app,
it's done the outline. So it's done the home page, it's done the cart page, and it's done the menu page.
man, it looks great actually. It looks really good.
Yeah. So the navigation bar, it's got it there. There we go. We've got the Polish and English.
Does it work?
Let's go back to the home page. Let's go back to that. Let's see. There you go.
Super good, man. This is sick.
There you go. So let's see if we can add it to cart. Yeah, so that's not responsive yet. So it hasn't written out all of the full code, but it's given you the first initial outline. Oh no, there we go. It has added it. It just wasn't showing any kind of UI confirmation other than in the cart itself.
I think we can always prompt that, but I think this is working. That part is very responsive, and this part also.
So so there you go. That's my next project.
Great. I mean, I think we should continue building this live weekly, maybe. Just
I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. And what I do need to do is, because the actual website is a different color scheme. So what I can do is I can
take. How do you? Yeah, I'm curious. Like how do you
screenshot? So let's do a screenshot of that. Okay.
This is a nice way to do it, actually.
Is the hero section of the current website that we are building the replacement for. I want you to analyze the color scheme, color palette that is used, and in particular, pull out the green of the logo. Assess what those colors are, and let's add them to the design of our site.
Nice.
Let's see what it does. I'm curious to see what it will do, actually. Whether it will go away and start changing it or not.
Please, let's read the thoughts out there. I'm really curious what it goes.
Let's see. It says, from the image, I can identify the key colors: a deep teal forest green, used in the logo navigation bar, soft coral peach in the watercolor elements, a very light peachy background, and white accents. Let me update our Tailwind config and components to incorporate this more authentic color scheme.
Not bad.
Okay. Yeah. We've not got the green. Not got the green. I kind of I think I preferred the other one. But that's
let's
okay.
Hit the restore button.
let's see what it says first of all, because it's still writing something. So it might still be figuring out how to add the green to it somehow. So we'll see what it says. But as a first draft, that's I'm quite happy with that.
Pretty good.
There we go. See, it was still working on it.
Nice.
So hello. It's tried to replicate. That's interesting. It's tried to replicate the logo. That is interesting. It's trying to replicate the logo. No, it's not bad at all, actually. In fairness, I didn't ask it to do it, but there you go. So it says, I've updated the design to match the brand colors from the image, changed the color scheme, added soft coral peach colors, recreated the diamond logo design, added subtle watercolor-like effects using blurred circles in the hero section which you can just about see in the background there. And
Mike,
updated
would you
nav
please
bar.
hide the sidebar and the console? It would be really nice to see it. If you hide the sidebar, it should be
Sorry,
like the one beside the Firebase at Firebase, the one above it. Yeah, exactly.
that one.
And you can
There
also
you
hide
go.
the console. It'll really good look.
There you go.
Ooh, nice, perfect. This
That's
is
not
really good.
bad.
It's really
That's
good.
not bad,
And the
considering,
change which it
I mean,
made, yeah,
that I'm not a fan of.
yeah,
That
maybe
I'm,
the background color of the drop down. Yeah, the
I
drop down color.
just, I mean, it's got a much nicer background here. If you see that one,
That's right.
that's just a nicer reactivity than this one with the drop down.
Yeah,
So I might ask it to
shouldn't be difficult for the
change.
agent to fix it.
Can you change the toggle for the language so that it's a button instead of a drop down?
Yeah.
There we go. Let's see what it says. Thinking about it.
How does it look in the mobile view? I'm just curious. Oh,
Yeah.
pretty cool actually.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, it's made an assumption that it's in Warsaw, which it isn't, but
Yeah.
that's fine. We can work with that. Let's see, what is it going to do with this?
Yeah, but I think
There we go. That's better.
Yeah, that's way better.
That's so much better.
Way better.
There we go. I mean, what I'm really impressed with is that the font that it's used is pretty damn close, if not identical, to the existing font.
That's right. And I think the way you narrated that to take the color palette from there and then go for the implementation, I think that's something also it's important to convey the message to the agent.
Yeah. And I think if you do it early on in the project, then it's easier for it to then replicate it. It's easier for it to manage that. Whereas I find that if you're too far down in the project and you try to change the color scheme or the look of it or the color palette, you're just asking for trouble because there's too many components for it to
change throughout the app. It's already overwhelming for the agent. Makes sense. Makes sense.
But again, these are all things that I've learned over the last 2 or 3 months. Using Databutton for the last 2 months, but then also using V0 and Bolt New and all those guys. It taught me a lot about the limitations of what you can and can't do.
Definitely
with the AI agents. So and next up we'll do some live streams in the Discord, right?
For sure.
I'll find some time to spend like an hour or something doing.
Yeah, I think we can start that right away. And one other thing which is really helpful is like when you say this kind of tips and suggestions which you have learned, it's a way faster learning curve. Like I can't imagine at least 5 or 6 months back, we didn't know like how AI could build these apps and stuff. And now we have this different strategies to work with the AI agent, like what prompt to pass it, how to prime the agent first, and then ask it to reflect on those thoughts. I think those are great learnings. And over the months, we're learning more and more about it. And the best way is just to go for it, share with everyone. I think it's a learning for all of us.
Exactly.
Great stuff, Mike. I mean,
this one I would be building out on Firebase as well, because that's just my default. So I'll be adding that for the authentication and everything else as well. But I need to set up the project for that separately. So so I'll do that next time. But yeah, hopefully that's given everyone some food for thought and some stuff to take away and enjoy. Maybe we can start competition to see how many projects people can have. I mean, I've got 6 now, so I'm quite happy with my 6. That's plenty for me to be getting on with. I just need to finish one of them. That's the next.
I think you were
finish one.
You were very close with the Trader's Torch. That's something which
Trader Torch is the journaling. Once I've got the journaling done, then
time for launch.
There.
Time for launch.
That journaling is just that. and providing some kind of analytics for it. Once I've got that,
That's right. That's right.
then I'll be happy. So I need to make some time to speak to Dom and get his insights, because he's got great analytics on his app. And then the cafe is probably, in terms of priority order right now, it's the website for my wife, Trader Torch, the cafe, and then probably the Kokosek, and then it'll be the last two. That's kind of, if I'm prioritizing them off the top of my head. So
I mean, and it would be great, like if you just share with us over the Discord, like everyone would just come to like
absolutely,
update with that.
absolutely. So these, once, hopefully, well, this week I've been pretty much working on my book. The book is pretty much done. So yeah, I've been spending.
Why don't you share the book link? I think that would be great, because I just quickly went through.
Yeah,
or
I
you
can
have it. And like, I really like the way that you put your learnings, your struggle throughout this time. You wrote it down, you jotted it down, and just convert into a chapter. And I think I told you personally as well. That's really nice to see, like how you jotted down the entire stuff and then write it down, publish as a book. I mean, fantastic.
Do you know what? I felt so helpless and so frustrated that I was applying for jobs and literally not even getting a phone call. So I just thought to myself, right, okay, I've got to do something. And so actually what I did was I went to ChatGPT and I said, right, I'm really frustrated right now. I can't get people to reply to me with job applications. There must be many more people like me,
for sure,
in the same boat, right? So I said, give me 10 business ideas that I could utilize for this particular niche. And that's basically where the idea of the book came, because I said, right, I need a business idea that doesn't require, any startup costs or anything like that. What can I do? And one of the ideas was writing a book. So I
think like you finished it. And when is it already published, or is it the final manuscript?
It is. I'll share it with you because I'm not logged into the chat. So there you go. It's on the UK. Well, it's on all of the different Amazons. So it is currently available for pre-order on Kindle, but you will also be able to get it on paperback as well. So it's being released next Friday. The paperback manuscript I just submitted today. So you can pre-order that, and then it's just waiting for them to approve it for the paperback. So
good luck, man. I mean, this is great. Great stuff, man.
I'm spreading myself to all possible areas that I possibly can: e-commerce, cafes, bakeries, trading, finance, writing, you name it. I'm going to do I think I might do voiceovers next. Go on to Fiverr and just offer my voice to do voiceovers for I don't know what.
It's so inspiring to see someone like that. I mean, I don't know how you manage all this time, and then you come over Discord and help us out, help everyone who is building. This is fantastic, man. I'll just quickly show a few of this. Hey guys, I'm working on internal tools for my company. Accounting firm, would you recommend doing it all one project or multiple microservice? But how to connect them? Yeah, that's a good question, actually.
So I think, probably what I would say to you, Jose, apologies if I've said your name incorrectly. I would probably need personally, I would want to know a bit more information about what kind of internal tools you're talking about and how they're going to be integrated. If they're interlinked, then it kind of needs to be one app. If not, then there's no reason to keep them together, and actually it will probably be easier to build them if they're separate. But I would assume you're probably going to have certain interdependencies and those sorts of things. So you might want to bear that in mind. So what I would suggest is jump into the Discord and we'll help you out, and we can chat and we can figure it out with you and give you some advice and some tips. So I see you've just got the unlimited plan. So yes, it answers the question. They will be interlinked, some database info, etc. Yeah. So it should be one app, but if it's going to be something like that, I would probably go with the kind of the project plan idea. I don't know at what point you joined the stream, but we were talking earlier about the project plan that I have for the
For any of your, yeah,
cafe.
you can show off.
I think it's for the cafe. Here we go. So for the cafe, I actually asked the agent to. I basically worked out the plan. What are the things we need to do? What are the plans? And it created a JSON file with all the different assumptions and all these other different bits and pieces. So it filled it all out. So that's probably what I'd be working on and focusing on in doing it that way, so that when it gets to the size and scale of something like Trader Torch, you're not getting stuck and confused with all the different files and all the different components, because that's when it'll get a little bit crazy and confusing. So yeah, but that's the best way to do it, and then get it to use the tasks as well. So where did I have that? This one here. So got it. When it's got the tasks, you can just tell it, right, let's go work on task number 1 or whatever it is.
I'm also curious to see the done task, like the one which is the done toggle.
Yeah.
So those are like all the tasks which is done. You have finished all the goals.
That's 163 tasks.
But
That's all the tasks it's gone through.
How long did you invest on Trader Torch? Like it's like almost 1 month or a bit more?
On this one, no. This one I started working on just after Christmas.
Oh,
so less than a month, 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Nice.
So yeah. So I mean, my wife's website I started on, I think 3 days ago. This one here with the paintings, that I started a couple of days ago. And the cafe one, I think I started on like the day after Boxing Day or something, like the 27th of December or something. So yeah, that's when you get into it, it's amazing how much you can achieve and how much you can do. And yeah, it's satisfying for me, because I'm one of those people that's really likes to see the results of your work or the results of what you do. And this, I mean, okay, granted, I'm not writing the code, so I can't take full credit, right? But the satisfaction of telling it what you want and getting it to come back and to see your, kind of an idea of what you had in your mind come out on the screen is really, really cool. So yeah.
No, I think I completely agree with you here, Mike. And also, I think you have covered all the part almost. Like for the planning part, I also agree. Like planning, we keep a JSON file, or you can just go with the planner as well. I think that also helps quite a lot. And and only a single app building would be easier. First to just go through the ideas, connect, link them together. But at the same time, if you think that you want to like first prototype few of your ideas, you can just go for multiple projects, like build them, see how it works, and then slowly when you get the overall idea. Because one thing, the learning curve with Databutton is like the more you start using it, you get an idea overall how it works. I'm pretty sure, Mike, like the first few days were like, oh wow, it's great, and then suddenly like, this is not working. I mean, how to fix it? And then you're like, I figured out how to do it. Let's ask it to, use this precision prompting techniques, or use this hashtag, or just ask it to reflect. So yeah, you can start prototyping with small projects first. Maybe that also one way you can do. And then once you get an overall idea how Databutton works, the entire agentic system, because it is more like a thoughtful process where it tries to interact a lot. Once you get that idea, you can start building everything in one place. And that's why, like, we always suggest, or we rather recommend, using the prompting techniques which we have over our docs. That helps a lot, because there are different strategies which you can adapt while building. That helps a lot. So yeah.
And the other thing I would suggest is, if you're like me and you have absolutely no clue about coding or building websites or planning websites or any of that, you just have an idea in your head, my one piece of advice is to learn a little bit of what what it is that it's structured like. So
I think that's
Corbin Brown is, he has some good free content on YouTube. He does a really long tutorial on how to build stuff out and everything else. It's quite labor intensive, but some of the content is really good to give you an understanding of what's a component, what's a page, what's the back end, what's the front end.
Right.
How do these things interlink? when the agent starts talking about npm packages or Python packages or anything like that. 3 months ago, I had no idea what any of those were. I had absolutely no clue. And now, I'm talking about I18N and all these other random packages that, just sounds ridiculous, right?
Um,
So that's why I say the learning curve is steep,
Steve,
but
yeah.
but having that initial first understanding of what are the interdependencies of when you're
Yeah.
building something, how
And
does it work?
what are the pieces that you can break
Yeah,
down a particular
yeah, yeah.
concept
So
into?
what is the front end? What is the back end?
Exactly.
What makes up the front end? What makes up the back end? The back end I know is made up of Python code, for example. The front end is made up of React and Vite and all those things. So understanding that gives you a much better advanced knowledge when you're dealing with errors that might come up in the code. So when you see something in the console, you're able to sometimes the agent just needs that little extra hint,
Extra
or
hint
that
or
little,
a
yeah,
lead.
that exactly, that little extra just area to say, go and have a look here and just check if the problem is here. Because the one thing that I personally think a lot of people assume with AI agents is that they read everything. Like they read every single line of code and it's like all just there. But it physically can't do it. The computing power just isn't there for it to do that. I mean, they need to be super incredibly fast computers to be able to do that. So there's always going to be what I would describe as an element of leakage.
That's right.
So where you're going to get certain bits missed, you're going to get certain mistakes, and certain assumptions that are made. But then it's the same that you would get with a human coder and a human developer. And so personally, I think that people who use AI coding platforms or AI in generally need to manage their expectations and understand that this isn't a machine that's just going to go and do everything for you and thanks very much, it's done. You need to almost treat it as if it's a human and not just assume that it knows everything and it assumes what's in your head, because you wouldn't do that with a human colleague that was a developer. So why would you do it with
Exactly.
AI? you know
I think
so
these are
so
really great points, to be honest. And also, if an agent cannot go through the entire app at one time, because
yeah,
there's a limited context window. You cannot
exactly,
just
yeah.
pass everything at one time. And there are times, even in the chat also, I think we mentioned that
Hmm.
earlier, that there are part of the chat which is
Yeah.
kind of out of the context of the
Hmm.
memory.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah,
very hard
exactly.
to like push in all this content at one
Mhm.
time. Plus you have code blocks, which was like
Yeah,
thousands of lines of code. You have,
yeah, yeah,
I remember in the trader store, you have like, I don't know, 10 to 20 pages, 50
yeah,
UI
yeah,
components. You cannot just put everything in one block and send
exactly,
it to it. So yeah,
exactly.
that's one way. Like think it more like a junior developer whom you are directing
Yeah,
how to do this,
yeah,
what to do next.
exactly.
And yeah, and then at times you have to spoon feed a bit, like when you use
Yeah,
the console logs. That works pretty well. And also at times
yeah,
it's very, very important. I realize personally that it's important to prime the agent. Like because yeah,
yes.
few context is out of the memory, and then you prime the agent
Hmm.
that you know what, this is what we were discussing
Yeah,
about.
yeah,
And maybe we can just need to find out where we should go or how we should go. And that's
yeah,
what the trick
yeah,
which you used, like
exactly.
this
I think I
repository.
used it on, where did I do it? I think it was on this one. Was it this one? Or was it another one? I'll show you an example of one that I had. I think it might have been this one.
Hmm.
Here we go. You've been going round in circles on another thread trying to sort out an issue with the toast on contact page. There were multiple toast components created with various names, so I've deleted them all. I want you to go into the logs and check the issue. It appears to be something to do with the paid contact page and an import there. Please review the situation fully and provide feedback. Don't write code. That was a brand new thread, so that was one of the things that I learned pretty much at the start when I was using Databutton was
That's
if
right.
you're
Yeah.
if you're going around in circles, just cut the thread. Just it's like if you had a literal thread of string and it's all tied in knots. Sometimes you just got to cut it
Yeah.
and start off with a new thread.
Also,
Uh,
like when things are getting too overwhelming, you are doing
yeah,
a lot of things at a time, it's
yeah,
better to take a step back or
yeah,
start a new
yeah,
thread
Yeah,
and then slowly start priming the agent, like this part
exactly,
I want to change,
exactly,
this part I want to change.
exactly.
And I think that helps a lot. I mean, every day when I just prompt in data button, that's something which I try to more of make a compartment of this part first, and then
Hmm.
also use this hashtag prompting, like,
Yeah,
select
absolutely.
which component which I
Yeah,
want, or which page or which backend I want to work on. That helps
yeah.
a
No,
lot.
that is a massive, massive help. And it's something that I need to get better at doing. Is and it was something that you told me once, was to rename the components to be
I
more
see.
relevant to what you're
Mhm.
doing. You know, obviously, when you do rename them, you've got to make sure that all the imports and the exports and the interdependencies are updated. But that's a really, really important one to remember.
That's right. Yeah, that also helps a lot. Also, I think we have spoken about this, like to use the read only feature
Yeah,
to block a particular section of a
yeah,
component or UI
exactly. Yeah,
pages,
yeah,
and then
yeah. So,
it tweaks. So
if you
you
wanted to
limit,
save it, yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
you limit the scope of the AI agent, and then just
Yeah,
go for attack to particular
yeah,
this.
exactly.
Wow.
So I'm
Okay.
still hoping. I'm still
Yeah.
hoping that you guys are going to add that bulk button where we can just turn
Yeah.
everything to read
Yeah.
only and then turn the ones that we don't want off. So
I think
still waiting for that one.
we have already mentioned this to Ovind. I think once or
Good,
twice over Discord. Yeah, that's right.
good, good,
No,
good.
but I think that's something which we need to
Yeah,
bulk read only. That
yeah,
would be really helpful.
yeah.
But yeah, this was
Absolutely.
great, man. I think we
This
covered
was
a
super
lot
fun.
of
Yeah,
super fun,
man.
and we should just go on building this website or something new which
Yeah,
anyone can suggest.
we
We
can
can
do
just
that one.
start building.
We can do the cafe. You know,
Yeah,
whatever.
and
I'm
then
going to be doing all of them. So what I might do is when I'm back on Monday, I'll remind myself just to go on the live channel, and I'll just share my screen. Anyone that wants to jump in, see what I'm doing, then
I
come
think
and do it.
yeah, let's do that. I mean, I'm happy to join and just
Yeah,
go ahead with this, like, and we can just
yeah,
take some suggestion and see if it works or not. And I'm pretty sure,
yeah,
like, there will be times when it works like a charm. There are times when the
yeah,
agent will, like, literally, like,
yeah.
today is not the day.
Exactly.
And we hear this over our Discord channel as well.
Yeah.
Today the agent
So I
was
mean,
misbehaving. Yeah.
for me, what I think would be really good is just building up that community of sharing what we're doing. So
Yeah.
it can even be just I've seen it in other communities of just doing like a hangout. So
Yeah.
you know, I might not even be working on Data Button. I might be doing something else, but I'll just sit in the live chat or in the live lounge, and people jump in, say, "Hey, Mike, how's it going?" Because it can be really lonely when you're working on this stuff.
I agree.
So it's nice just to chat to people and kind of get
Yeah. And
feedback
also
and stuff
get
like
your
that.
head out of the app building
Yeah,
and just take
absolutely.
a sleep or just have a.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly.
By the way,
So
so Dom was like,
thank you, Dom.
we need to bring in Dom another time. We need to just build something
Absolutely,
together. Exactly. Okay,
absolutely,
Mike.
absolutely.
I think it's time to close it. It was great fun to have you here. It was really
Thank
nice
you,
to
Abra.
listen to all these tips and suggestions and the prompts and how you started building in Data Button and the apps which you're building. It's amazing, man. It's really amazing.
Thank you, man.
It
Thank
was
you.
a lot to learn. And really, best wishes for the book release. I've already added in the comment section. So if
Thank
anyone
you.
out
Very
there,
kind.
please read this. And I have read the first section, which you shared over LinkedIn. And I think it's something which is coming from your personal experience. So I think it's great. It's really nice that you jotted them down. And it's a hard time, but really nice to see that you are active not only in our community but in other communities. I think that shows how much resilient you are and how much you care for each and every community. So thank you and kudos to you for that. Okay.
Thank you, Abra. Very kind of you. Very kind of you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and thanks everyone who has been in this live. I think this was one of the great one, and we should continue for the next one. Let's see what
Absolutely.
happens for the next live stream. Okay.
Cheers,
Cheers,
guys.
guys.
Take care.
Cheers.